and welcome, yoga friends. I am Lorelai of Namasturm Yoga. Welcome to another virtual yoga practice. We're going to start on the floor today on our back. So I'm just sitting here squatting, resisting sitting down because we're not actually going to sit at the top of the practice. We're going to lay on our backs with the knees bent. Heels are not going to be right up next to the hips, but give them a little bit of space. And if it's easier for you, you can actually take your feet wide and let your knees drop together just so that you don't have to work to keep the knees up. Let the back of the head rest on the floor. Of course, every time I do this, I have a ponytail that hits exactly where I want my head to be on the floor. So if you've got some obstruction, you can remove that and just fix your hair later on. Let the arms open out to the sides, close your eyes, and tune into your breath. So I do these classes on Wednesday, which is middle of the week, and you never know how you're going to be feeling middle of the week evening. So just let yourself check in. Notice how you're doing physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever is coming up for you. Acknowledge and honor it. Try not to hold on to it tightly or spin off trying to remember, wait, why am I feeling this way? Oh yeah, this one thing. Don't get caught up in it. Just let yourself notice it in the simplest way possible. If you haven't yet, start to notice your breath. And then when you're ready, transition yourself to a new Ujjayi breathing practice. We're going to follow this breath through movement, and we're starting right on our backs. We're not going to do anything dramatic right away. But on an exhale, bring the right knee in and straighten the left leg out. And then inhale, let's just switch sides. So we can inhale, exhale, it's gonna be one side and then the other. I guess don't worry about which one is the inhale, which one's the exhale. Or if you wanna slow it down, you can exhale to bring the knee in, inhale, and then exhale to switch to the other knee. Now go ahead and pull both knees in on an exhale. And then on an inhale, reach the legs into the air, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, knees in, and this time you can also bring your shoulders up and bring your nose to your knees. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, tucking in. Inhale, extending out. You may start to notice as you bring your shoulders up, what's going on with the back and the upper back and the spine and the neck. So just see if there's any stiffness or tension there. All right, and then this next time we're gonna curl in. Keep your knees in, lower the shoulders back to the ground. Take the arms out like cactus arms or goalpost arms. Drop the knees to the right, and then just turn the head back to the left to try to let your left shoulder relax to the floor. And then switching sides, so your knees are going to come back through center, and then just carefully let them fall to the left. Turn your head back to the right. So supine twist like this, often we'll do this at the end of a practice, but beginning practice, end of practice, on either end we want to kind of move a little slowly. At the beginning we're just gently warming up our body, waking things up. At the end we're starting to let ourselves relax. But these simple, basic poses where the ground is taking most of our weight, they kind of serve on either end. Go ahead and come back up, knees back into the chest. Plant your feet on the floor, and then let's start to lift the hips. You can bring your arms down by your sides, but then as you lift the hips and roll up through the spine, reach the arms up overhead, and then exhale. Lower your spine back to the floor. If you can, one vertebra at a time. Inhale, tuck your tail and roll up through the spine, and exhale, roll them back down. And many of you who've practiced with me before are familiar with this sequence. And I mean, it's as much as it's a sequence, it's very simple, just 2 poses. But this is kind of like, instead of doing a cat-cow, which we would do on hands and knees, we can do something like this on our back, or we're just working with and articulating the spine to warm it up. And we're also following the breath. One more time, lift on up and lower down, and then bring your knees back into your chest, nose to knees, and then rolling shoulders to hips. Now this might feel uncomfortable. If so, go easy, use your hands for support, but the goal is to start to, again, warm up a little bit and roll like a ball. So your spine maintains its C-shaped curve so that we're not just like clumping. And, you know, do the best you can. There's a little bit of momentum. Last time up, see if you can use enough momentum to get you all the way to your feet and a standing forward fold. Soft knees, let the upper body hang, sway, dangle as needed. If you need to put your hair back in a ponytail, maybe this is a good place to do it with your head hanging over. Breathe. And then let's go ahead and step the right foot back. So if you should be at the top of the mat, but if you need to adjust your foot position for the front foot, you can. The right foot steps back. Go ahead and reach through that back heel, bend into the front knee. And then keeping the fingers on the floor, we're just gonna gently straighten the front leg on an inhale, and then bend it deeply on an exhale. And we're just gonna go back and forth. The back leg really stays straight the whole time, and you can really push through that back heel. So as your knee comes forward, the leg is extended. As your knee straightens, you might almost get your back heel to the ground. Back and forth, warming up the legs, the hip sockets here. And then we're just gonna step back forward and do the other side. So real simple. Starting with a high lunge, the right knee should be right over the ankle, strong and straight through that back leg, stretch it out. And then inhale, straighten the front, reach through the back heel, exhale, bend deep, lunging. Inhale, straighten. Follow the pace of your own breath. I know I mention this every time I teach, but really work at your own pace. So your breathing rate may not be the same as mine. You want to try to be consistent, but it doesn't have to match what I'm doing or what anyone else is doing. All right, and then stepping forward again. This time, let's bring the feet together so the big toes touch. The heels are going to be a little bit apart. Soften the knees, and we're going to roll up to standing. All the way up at the top of the mat. Once you're up, take the shoulders back and down a couple of times. My hair is funky. All right. And then from here, with the feet together, feet press down, but you're evenly distributed between the balls and the heels of the feet. The toes should be relaxed, and the knees should not be locked, but the quads do lift. A little bit of navel in, tail down. Let's inhale, reach the arms out and up. Maybe look up to the palms as they come together. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Now let's half lift Ardha Uttanasana. Keep the neck and spine long as you bend your knees, plant your palms, and step to plank pose and hold. Shoulders over wrists, reach through the head, reach through the heels, reach through the tailbone. Stabilize through the core. The center of your body here is doing a lot of the work. Now from here, bend your knees, drop them to the floor. Bend the elbows, lower the heart between the hands. Try not to let those hips drop out first. And then let's take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, lift your shoulders, draw the shoulder blades onto your back, let the knuckles slide back, lift the upper body, lift the hands, and maybe lift the feet, pointing the toes behind you. So we're curving up and away from the floor. We don't want to lift the feet by bending the knees. The legs are still straight and extended, but they're kind of bowing upward. And now, try to keep your lift with the body. Release your hand clasp, hands next to chest, press up, cobra pose. Shoulders back and down, heart forward. Breathe. If you need to make this easier, just bend your elbows a lot more and moving in the direction of just like a baby cobra where you start to take less and less weight on the hands. We're going to go to down dog. Tuck toes, lift knees and hips. Move the heart back, root into those hands. Spread your fingers, press forward and down. Lift your triceps, move the heart back, relax your neck, lift the hips. And then the knees, maybe at this point, are like really bent and the heels are really lifted, just so you could find all that length and elongation in the upper body. You can keep it like that, or maybe just gently straighten one leg, dropping that heel towards the floor. Breathe. And then switch to the other leg. And if you want to go back and forth a little bit, you may. All right, let's look to the front of the mat on an inhale. Exhale, walk the feet forward again. Big toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down, Uttanasana. And then we're going to reverse swan dive. So float all the way up and palms together in front of the heart. And guess what? We're ready to start really flowing into our sun A's. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, step to plank. Maybe drop those knees first, or you can go through Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, or if you went Chaturanga, maybe go straight to up dog. Exhale, downward dog and hold. Root into the hands, lift the hips. Now this time, although you may have slightly adjusted the feet coming to down dog, try now to keep some stillness in the pose, which doesn't mean we're like completely static and rigid, but we're not like futzing with it. So deepening can still happen. Lengthening on inhales, deepening on exhales. And then when you're ready to move on, inhale, look forward, exhale, bend the knees to step, walk, or hop forward. Nice and light. Half lift, fold, Uttanasana, reverse the swan dive. Palms together, let's keep it flowing. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. This time, just one inhale. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Half lift and fold, Uttanasana. Reverse the swan dive and palms together. And let's flow through a few more here. Follow the pace of your own breath. I'm going to stop cueing so you can concentrate a little bit more on your own rhythm, pace, and body. Now feel free to take this up a notch by adding in a push-up, doing like a power vinyasa, or take it down a notch by doing what I'm doing tonight, which is modifying. I'm keeping my knees on the floor. I keep running into shoulder issues. Vinyasas really strengthen the shoulders, but anything that can strengthen can also overwork, right? So, we're working our shoulders every time we do a vinyasa sequence, which is fantastic. but you can overdo that, so I'm trying to ease up and be a little gentle with them. So listen to your body. If you're feeling like you need to add that extra strengthening, you can always throw in an extra push-up, and I know some of my students do that, but I'm not going to be demonstrating that tonight, so I'm assuming you know how to do an extra push-up if you want. Keep flowing. Let's take one more round, depending on where you are, but we will meet in downward facing dog. So as you approach your next one, just get ready to hold there. All right, good downward facing dog. Give yourself a couple of breaths to rest. And then we're going to take the right leg up. Let's keep the hip good and square so the toes stay flexed downward. Toes are right under the heel. And then look forward, step forward. Let's take a full high lunge crescent pose. Come on up. Back heel is not rotated to the floor, so we're not taking warrior one just yet. Let your shoulders ride over your hips. So maybe a little navel in, tail down so that you can get more upright. Lunge forward, straighten out that back leg, and then the arms reach up. Let's take the left hand to the floor, inside the right foot, right arm up for an easy twist. Look up towards the top thumb, shoulders stack. From here, we're going to take it to a little balance. So we're going to actually move those left fingers forward and try to float the back leg up. This is actually revolve half moon, which is a more advanced pose, but it actually isn't too terribly difficult to get there from a simpler pose. So see how your balance is tonight. And then just bring the feet together. Let's bend the knees and take chair pose, Utkatasana, for a couple breaths. And then hands to the floor, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha. Make your way back to down dog. Now, if you want to skip your vinyasa completely at this point, just do it. And you can take some and not others, totally fine. So up to you. Otherwise, you can keep those vinyasas going for the more vigorous version of this practice. Left leg up, square hip, toes flex down, root into the hand, heart back. Look forward, step forward. Make sure your left knee is above the ankle and that your foot isn't behind your knee. Come on up and, adjust your alignment so you've got a strong back leg, an upright torso, a deep lunge in the front leg, and then the arms can move up. We're going to take the right hand down to the floor and the left arm up. This is just a twist. This is like just an easy twist here, really. Now, to move into our little balancing twist, right fingers come forward, transfer your weight to your left foot and float the right leg up. Now we're in revolve half moon. And feet to the floor together, bend the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana, exhale Uttanasana, inhale Ardha, and moving through vinyasa to take yourself to down dog. Let's take the right leg into the air, open the hip and bend to the top knee, point the knee to the sky, heel drops down to your left hip. Option to flip the dog here if you're feeling like you can take it, if it's interesting to you. Pivot on the left foot until the right foot comes off or comes to the floor off the edge of the mat. Rotate the feet back, knees over ankles, lift the hips, open the heart. From here, we're actually going to step all the way forward to a warrior one. So pivot back onto your left foot, bring the right foot forward, pivot that back heel down. Come on up, adjust your hips so that they're squared forward. Arms up, lunge deep. Root into the edge of the back foot. into just a classic half moon, regular half moon. So take the left hand to the hip, take the right fingers forward now, and as you float your back leg off the floor, turn your body open to the side. So try to get your left hip to stack over the right, flex into the top foot, take your top arm up. And then you can just place your left foot down next to the right, chair pose. We're coming out of that open pose and squaring forward again, Utkatasana, Uttanasana, Ardha, and take a vinyasa. And I've shifted a little over to the side of my mat, so recenter yourself if you need to. Let's do all those poses on the left leg. So left leg up, open the hip and bend the knee. If you don't want to flip the dog tonight, you can just stay here for a moment, pointing that knee to the sky. If you flip the dog on the first side though, I encourage you to do the same on this side too. Push the heels down, lift the hips up, open the heart. And then stepping all the way forward for warrior one. Right heel goes down. Left foot is slightly to the left of the center of your mat. Right foot is slightly to the right of the center of your mat. You don't want your feet mat distance apart, but just like a little gap between them to help with keeping our hips hip distance and level. And then take those arms up. Notice if you're rolling to the arch of your back foot and instead try to roll to the outer edge of the back foot. I know that can be a challenge. It's subtle, but worth noting. Half moon on the left. Right hand to the hip, left fingers forward, right leg up. And then once the foot is up, then turn open in the air. Stack the hips and shoulders, and if you can, take your top arm up. Now, of course, as I mentioned, feet were hip distance, so my left foot is slightly to the left side of my mat. So now as I put my right foot down, I'm going to be slightly askew, slightly to the left side of the mat for chair pose, but that's not the end of the world. Forward fold, and then just make your adjustment as you step back to plank. Vinyasa. Inhale the right leg up. Let's just take it up for one breath. Exhale, step it forward. We're going to take warrior one again. Inhale. And then we're going to step our way towards that front foot. Slide the back foot in a little bit, straighten the front leg, and fold for pyramid here. Now hips are level in pyramid, so you want to maybe bring your hands to your hips to check on that so that you're not like shifting the hips way off to the side. Fold towards your right leg. If you need to have your hands on something here, like if it's hard to get them to the floor, this is where a block would be handy if you were in a yoga studio, but I know some people have blocks at home, so you're welcome to use one if you'd like. Now from here, we're going to go to a standing split. So let the fingertips move ahead of the mat, float the left leg up, and fold towards the right leg. Now, feet together, let the left foot come up next to the right, bend the knees, chair pose, and we are going to twist to the right. Palms together, twisted chair pose, or prayer twist, sometimes called. Standing now on that right foot still, we're going to step the left foot back again, but now we're in a high lunge twist. Fly the arms if you can. Come on up, stretch back, reach back, look back towards your heel. Keep lunging forward. Now from here, we're actually going to go to side plank on the left. We'll go through our easy twist, but pretty quickly. So on an exhale, take that left hand down and then inhale. Open to the edge of your left foot and stack that right foot on top of it. Lift the top arm. Turn to the floor, vinyasa. Okay, from down dog, inhale the left leg up, Exhale, step it forward. We're starting with warrior one. Come on up. And then step the back foot in, straighten the front leg for pyramid on the left. Folding down towards your left leg. Again, try to keep the hips level. Try not to lock your left knee joint so the leg is straight, and it should actually appear straight, but you don't want that kneecap pushing back. It's just nice and easy, so you could bend it if you wanted to. Standing split on the left. Float your weight to the left leg. Right leg goes into the air. Holding deep. And then right foot up next to the left. Chair pose. And we're going to twist the other way. So I'm just going to flip to the other end of my mat to keep facing you in this one. Press the palms. Stepping the right foot back this time. So left foot stays forward. Fly the arms if you can. You don't have to. You could keep those palms pressing. But we are going to come up. And ideally we want the arms extended now. So either right fingers forward, left back. Or you can continue to tip backwards further. Keep lunging forward. Don't lose that sense of the high lunge that we've got going. One more inhale here. Exhale, right hand to the floor. Inhale, side plank on the right side. And turn to the floor, vinyasa. Advanced, modified, skipped, whatever you want, or stay with the classic. From down dog, inhale, take the right leg up. Exhale, step it to the front of the mat. Inhale, starting with warrior one. We're going to straighten up the front leg, fold down as if we were going to pyramid, but we're keeping that back foot further back. Now adjust your back arch to line up with the front heel. And then back the hand against the inner shin. Let's open to triangle pose. Keep the sides of the torso really long here. Extend, extend. Now, top arm overhead alongside the ear, palm faces down. Bottom hand lifts up, palms face each other. Yep. Turn to the floor. So you're squaring yourself back up. Bend the front knee, float into warrior three. Back leg leaves the floor and then lifts as high as the hip. You can bring palms together in front of the heart if you need to here. Reach through the head, reach through the lifted heel. Try to level out the hips if you can. Bend the front knee. Step back, warrior one. And then take a vinyasa here. We'll go into the other side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. And then straightening the front leg, fingertips to the floor, adjust the back heel, left hand against the inner shin, lift and open the upper body, triangle pose. Top arm overhead, palm faces down. Bottom hand lifts up, stabilize. Turn to face the left leg, warrior three. And bending the front knee, step back long for warrior one. Take a vinyasa, back to down dog. Take a resting breath or two in down dog. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, walk, or hop forward. Take a half lift. Fold. Let's take chair pose again, Utkatasana. And then we're going to straighten the legs, come to stand. We're going to move to the wall. We're going to do just a little bit of handstand practice. So we're not completely done with standing poses, but before we get too tired, I think it's worth throwing in some of these slightly more vigorous inversions. Now, if you don't want to do a handstand tonight, or it seems like it's a little out of your comfort zone, you could go legs up the wall, or if you're not near a wall, you could do something like dolphin in the center of the room, or you can even just practice with the hands to the floor, lifting legs up over the hips and trying to move the shoulders and the hips more vertical. So that's also a possibility if you don't want to be kicking up today. Now I have candles, probably not the best thing while practicing a handstand. I'm just going to slide this one out of the way. And I'm going to move this, but we're just going to go right into kicking up. If you prefer to work with like a box pose or something, of course, this is your practice, so do what feels best for you. We want to be safe. Now, the thing about handstand is that balancing can be really challenging, but practicing getting up into handstand is actually relatively safe. Our head is not on the floor, so our neck is not real vulnerable. The thing that we do want to be cautious of is that we are going to need to come down, so you need to be good and adequate at catching yourself. So if you fling your legs into the air and then just let gravity catch you, that's not safe. So it can be unsafe if you're not practicing mindfully. If all you do is take tiny hops and practice catching yourself as you come back down tonight, that's fantastic. That's a great practice. If you are going upside down, hands slightly away from the wall, shoulders over wrists, push down. We really want to extend the length of our arms here, so almost to the point of feeling like we're locking out the elbows. And lift up out of the shoulders, so don't let the chest start to drop down or the arms bow to the sides. Take one leg up as your swing leg, the bottom leg is your kickoff leg, and then, just try to get yourself up. But if it's not happening, just practice again with little kicks. Try both sides. Give yourself time. It really is dependent on your core to get you up here, and then balance is a whole other story. So there's definitely multiple aspects of handstands we can practice, whether it's just getting up, whether it's getting up with more control, with more stability, with more alignment, or holding your handstand. So be where you need to be. We're going to spend maybe another minute here. This is a chance to go upside down again if it's not for you. Find another version. Even if it's just laying on the floor with your legs up in the air, that's going to be a good inversion for even the lower part of the body. All right, enough said. I'll give you your time to practice here. And sometimes if you get up, you may not be able to balance, but sometimes just even the stamina to stay up against the wall, it can be pretty intense. So see if you can hold for like 10 to 20 breaths without coming down. It's going to build strength in your arms and just a little bit of stamina and endurance of being able to take the weight of your whole body on your wrists. So don't rush out. But when you are ready to come out again, come out easily, gently, slowly, as naturally as you can. All right. And then once you're done, we're going to move back to the mat. Let's take a quick Padahastasana just to kind of release our wrists. And so one at a time, try to slide your hands under your feet until your toes come to meet your wrists. Wiggle those toes. Let the head hang down. Breathe. Maybe straighten up the backs of the legs if you feel like you're ready for a hamstring stretch. All right. And then let's just, let's just come back to down dog. If you want to take a vinyasa here, step to plank. Otherwise, you could just go straight to down dog. We're going to take the right leg up. A little bit of core work here. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Shoulders move forward. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, tap your right arm with your right knee. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, tap your left arm with your right knee. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, step the foot forward. We're going to take warrior one, and then we're going to go to warrior two. We haven't gotten to warrior two yet today. So front heel and back arch line up. Front knee over ankle, left hip opens, shoulders over hips, arms at shoulder height, and then look over those front fingertips. Turn the front palm up. Let's take a couple breaths. Reverse the warrior. Now from here, we're going to transition to dancer pose. So the right arm is going to come forward. The left hand is going to stay back. As you transfer the weight to the right foot, the left foot comes up, bend the knee, and grab the inner edge of the foot, and then lift on up. Now, from dancer pose, let's go ahead and bring that left knee forward. And we're going to let the ankle cross on to the right thigh, bend the right knee, bring palms together in front of the heart, and sit down here. The shin should be kind of level, so we should get a little bit of a stretch in the left hip, but we're just going to be here for a moment. And then from here, we can go right into chair pose without changing much but that bottom leg. Foot to the floor, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, Ardha, and make your way through vinyasa back to down dog, and we can prepare for the other side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, knee to the left arm. Inhale, lift that leg. Exhale, knee under the body to the right arm. Down dog split. Step forward with that left foot. Warrior one, and we're going to open to a warrior two. Front heel and back arch line up. Again, adjust your alignment. And then just breathe, stabilize. Every held breath in a pose is an opportunity to go just a little bit deeper, but don't force it. Then turning the front palm up, reverse warrior. And then see if you can find that transition again to dancer pose. Left arm forward, take the weight to that left foot, bend the right knee behind you, and reach back with the right hand for the inner foot. Lift on up. All right, and then bringing the right knee forward, let's just place that ankle on top of the left thigh, bend the left knee, palms together in front of the heart, sitting down. And then right foot to meet the left, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, Ardha. And a vinyasa for you here. All right, just one more sequence here. This might be a little longer, but it'll start the same way. So inhale, right leg up. We'll skip the core stuff, so just into standing poses. Exhale, step the foot forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse, and then extended side angle. Forearm to thigh, top arm overhead. Now, we're warmed up at this point in our practice, so if you want to go a little deeper, a couple of options. Fingers to the floor, outside the right foot, keep the sides extended. You could take a half bind with the left arm behind you, or a full bind with that right shoulder dropping in front of the knee so that that right arm can reach under the leg and the hands can clasp behind you. Lift the top shoulder. Now, if you're in this full bind and you want to take a bird of paradise tonight, it's optional, but you can go into it. Otherwise, just stay where you are and breathe. But if you're going to take the bird, step the left foot forward, and then keeping your bind, float up with that right leg with you. Come on up, shoulders back, flex into that right foot and extend. And then before you lose your grip, bend the knee, replace the right foot on the floor, and step back. So take your time if you're still finishing up that sequence. And then from wherever you are, we're going to release the extended side, so whatever version you're in. Come on up, parallel the feet, and let's take prostrate Padottanasana here. So hands to the waist, let your torso lengthen as you come to a nice wide-legged forward fold. Hands to the ground, then once you get it far enough down, line them up between the feet, lean forward, head hangs, lift your quads. Those of you interested in tripod headstand, feel free, it's absolutely optional, except for if your head is not on the floor, and then it's really not optional. You can't, it will not be for you if your head is not on the floor. Let's take the left hand over to the right leg, grab on, lift up, take a twist. All right, and then rotating the body all the way back around to that right foot, pivot the right foot. Let's go ahead and lower the left knee and just take a really nice low lunge here. Extend your back foot. Right knee is over ankle. Come on up with the upper body, but then do sink the hips forward toward that front heel. Arms can go up. Maybe really leaning back here. And then hands to the floor. Step to plank. Lower down. And then let's go ahead and take a bow pose here. So Dhanurasana, bend the knees, reach back with the hands for the feet. If you can grab the ankles without letting the knees go wide, grab the ankles, flex the feet. Shoulder blades on the back, pelvis pushes down, legs lift up and rise as you move into your back bend. And let it go, forehead or an ear to the floor. Let's take Cobra, hands next to chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. We got another side to do. So I said this is going to be a little longer sequence. Let's inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, and then finding extended side and maybe keeping it simple, maybe staying simple so you don't have to go beyond this basic version of the pose. If you do want to go deeper, maybe just fingers to the floor outside the shin, maybe a half bind, maybe a full bind. Try to do the same thing that you did on the first side. And then if you're in the full bind and you want to take that bird of paradise, right foot steps forward, keeping that bind around the left leg. Try to float on up to standing, keeping the balance. Gaze might be forward and down at first, but then see if you can bring your shoulders back and bring your gaze up, and then extend through that leg. And then, before you lose it, step down with the left foot, step back with the right. Take a couple more breaths if you need to in your bind or your extended side, such as it is. And release. Come on up. Let's parallel the feet again. We're going to take a second variation on Prasrita. So this time, hands behind the back with fingers interlaced, shoulder blades together. Let the chest lean forward, let the head hang down, arms overhead. Relax the weight of the neck, or the weight of the head, and let the neck be nice and long and easy. All right, and now before coming up, let's take the hands back because we're going to take that twist on the other side. So right hand's going to come and grab the left foot or ankle or wherever you can grab. Lift the left arm up. Try to keep the hips or tailbone level if you can. All right, and then hands to the floor, pivot, pivot, pivot. Left foot down, right knee down. Let's take a low lunge here. Keep sinking the hips forward toward the front heel. Arms up and back. Make this a bit of a back bend. If you want to take your hands behind your head, you can. All right, and then hands come to the floor. Step the left knee back, lower chaturanga. And let's once again take bow pose. So second variation, or second episode, second version. I don't know, it can be the exact same version you did before. Second back bend. Let's just put it that way. Float on up, breathe. And let yourself come down, forehead or an ear to the ground briefly. And then come on up, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Walk the feet in just a little closer. We're going to do a little twist here. So we want the feet close enough that your hands can reach back. If they can't, adjust closer, but we don't want them so close that we're no longer on our hands, right? So make sure they're still a little bit away. Right hand to left leg, pull on that and twist under your arm. And then right hand down, left hand to right leg. And hands down. Walk back to regular old down dog. Take the right leg up, open the hip, bend the knee, and we're prepping for a pigeon stretch. So bring your right knee forward behind the right wrist, shin across the mat. Use your left toes to help scooch your left leg back so you're on your thigh. Avoid rocking to your right hip and fold on down. If you need to do a modified version of this on your back, you certainly may. So whatever you need to take so that this works for you and you're not hurting yourself, please feel free, and then just try to let go and give in to this stretch for the next few breaths. Okay then, come on up. Let's stretch our left quad. Support yourself with the right fingers. Try to get your torso pretty upright. If you can grab the foot with your hand as you bend the left knee, go ahead and draw that heel in. And let it go. All right, so we're gonna do a little interesting transition here. So we're actually gonna rock to our right hip, keep the left foot tucked in, but roll to where your left leg is extended and the sole of the right foot is just gonna tuck in. We're just gonna do a simple Janu Shirshasana here toward the left leg. Walk the hands in to bring yourself back up. Let's take Baddha Konasana. So bend both knees, bring the soles of both feet in and lengthen forward. Okay, and then come on up. Keep your left foot tucked in now, and take the right leg out. We're going to do Janu Shirshasana towards the right leg. So angle your body and fold towards that right. Okay, come on up carefully, and now is where we go into pigeon stretch on the left. So we keep our left knee kind of tucked, but bring it around to the end of your mat and then roll onto the top of the right thigh, roll off of your left hip. Adjust your shin if you need to bring it further forward, any way that you need to, and then fold for pigeon stretch side 2. Okay, so coming back up, we have one more quad stretch here. So support yourself with the left fingers. Get as upright as you can with the torso as you bend that right knee and reach back behind you to draw the heel toward the hip. All right, and then letting that foot go. Let's go back to down dog, and we'll take the left leg into the air and open the hip. Since we didn't do this to go into the pose, so give yourself a moment to open the hip and bend the knee. All right, and then foot down. Let's drop both knees down. See if you can take the knees together and the feet wide and sit between the heels for full Virasana or hero pose. If this is not possible, you could either sit on something that's between your feet, like a block or a book, or you could actually just bring your feet together and sit on your feet. You can stay upright here if you're feeling like you're getting enough stretch, or for those of you who are sitting more flat, you can start to lean back. You might bring your forearms to the ground and puff up the chest, let your head fall back. Or if your hips are truly completely resting on the floor, you can lay all the way back for a few breaths here. This is actually a pretty good stretch for the front of the body. It's not like a complete and total back bend, but there are aspects of that here in that we're opening the front of our body. Our thighs, our chest, our abdominal muscles kind of get stretched out here. So try to just give in, and if you want to add to it, you can even bring the arms and reach them overhead. If this is too intense on your feet or your knees, come up, ease out, find a way so that it's not painful, right? So we don't want the pose to be painful, even if it feels like intense. There's a difference between pain and intensity. All right. And then bring your hands back. Support yourself as you come on up. Now, whether you're sitting on a block or a book or on the floor between your feet, it doesn't matter. We're going to twist. If you need to come out of this, if your feet or knees are screaming at you, please come out. You can just come to a cross-legged position or some other seated form, because all we're really going to do is take the left hand to the right knee and the right fingers behind and turn over the right shoulder. And then a couple breaths to go the other way. Right hand to left knee, left fingers behind. Turn. All right, come out of your twist. Lean back or shift however you need to get the legs out from underneath you. Let's just extend them straight out in front of us. Give them a little rock back and forth, in and out, or you can just do a little bounce with the knees to kind of loosen them up. Maybe your feet need a little flip-flopping back and forth, whatever you want. And then we're going to come to Dandasana and go into Paschimottanasana. So Dandasana is staff pose, hands by the sides, shoulders back, nice and erect with the upper body, and then the legs are really toned. We want to keep the toned legs. Inhale, reach the arms out and up, but then as we fold, the upper body kind of just gives in, like it's deflating. Let yourself flop forward. Breathe here. One more full deep breath. And then come on up slowly, gently, easily, carefully. Let's go ahead and cross the legs. So we didn't really spend any time sitting at the beginning of practice, so we're just going to take maybe a minute here to just sit and focus on the breath. You can let go of the ujjayi at this point though and just watch your natural breathing rhythm, but also just be aware of how you're feeling here at the end of practice. 1 minute is not really much of a meditation practice, but it is nevertheless, even though it's very, very short, that is sort of the idea, is that we're moving from our moving practice to a meditation practice, even for this very short period of time. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. I do encourage you to take a little Shavasana practice after this wraps up here, but we'll end our shared practice with a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Thank you so very much for joining me today and sharing another practice. Namaste. All right, well, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and otherwise have a great rest of your week, and I hope you'll join me again next time. Bye-bye.